The episode 3 trailer for Dune Prophecy has been released online, and it gives us a look at what we are going to be getting with the next episode of the Max series, set in Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe. Episode 2 was a pretty good episode for the show that left us with more questions surrounding Desmond Hart, Lila's Rossak poison ritual, and the past secrets of the Sisterhood, so we go into the next episodes wondering what could happen. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you my breakdown for the Dune Prophecy episode 3 trailer, alongside my predictions and theories for what's to come. The trailer will be linked in the description of this video if you haven't seen it already. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my future content surrounding Dune Prophecy, Dune Messiah, and beyond, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into my trailer breakdown for episode 3 of Dune Prophecy. So the episode 3 trailer for the series suggests that we are going back to the past with Emily Watson's Valya and Olivia Williams' Tula Harkonnen. The journey back to a Harkonnen world offers an exciting opportunity for deeper world building and a closer examination of how the two sisters navigate challenges within their own family. Additionally, it emphasises that Desmond Hart is set to become an increasingly significant threat to the Sisterhood as he skillfully sways the Emperor to act against them. But while they encounter obstacles from these opposing forces, the trailer also suggests that Valya and her Sisterhood will work hard to harness the potential of the agony ritual which Sister Lila has just been put through. So with these intriguing narrative points on the way, it's time to dive into everything that was shown in this latest trailer. So in the first episode, we learned that the Harkonnen characters hail from Lankivel, a much colder planet than we are used to seeing. In the trailer for episode 3, we got footage of Valya arriving on Lankivel and her telling her Harkonnen family that they shouldn't just endure and that rather, they should be leaders of the Imperium. She's told in response that she shouldn't have come back there, and she replies by using the voice. Mark Addy's Evgeny Harkonnen then makes an appearance and labels her as a sorceress, so clearly she's having struggles when it comes to making her fellow Harkonnens believe that they can rise as leaders. It's essential to know that Lankivel is a vastly different place compared to Gedi Prime, the setting for the Harkonnens in the films. In the Dune adaptations, the Harkonnens are portrayed with pale skin and bald heads, a reflection of Gedi Prime's harsh environment. And this planet only became their home after the conflicts with the thinking machines. Lankivel, the home planet of the Harkonnen characters in the Dune Prophecy series, remains under Harkonnen control by the time of the films, serving as the stronghold of House Raban. But in the timeline of the show, it's a part of the Corino Empire and known for its primary export of whale fur. So how do we get to where the Harkonnens are now, and why is it important? Well, Valya frequently discusses her desire to revive the Harkonnen family legacy. According to the Dune prequels penned by Frank Herbert, this quest began long before Valya's time. It was a period marked by the loss of billions in the Machine Wars, during which a man named Vorian Atreides took it upon himself to rally an army and confront the machines in the Battle of Corrin. Millions were imprisoned by the machines, and Vorian resolved to sacrifice them to bring the war to a close. However, Abelard Harkonnen, a soldier under Vorian's command, had a very different perspective. He took it upon himself to disable the weapons of the captives, believing that it would protect them. This decision sparked a fierce battle that claimed countless lives, leading Vorian to label Abelard as a traitor. Valya, the great-granddaughter of Abelard, is convinced that her ancestor acted heroically. So she makes a promise to reclaim the honour of the Harkonnen family and to exact revenge on the Atreides. Vorian Atreides was one of the figures that Valya despised above all others, having been the architect of her family's ruin. Her intense animosity towards him fueled a relentless desire to eradicate the Atreides, often overshadowing her allegiance to the Sisterhood, driven solely by fury. In contrast, the rest of Valya's family harboured a far more subdued resentment towards Vorian. So revisiting this Harkonnen homeworld in episode 3 will likely allow the series to explore the intricate dynamics of their house, their history, their debates of ambition, and the enduring conflict with House Atreides. You can expect that this history is going to link into the issues that Valya and her sister have to overcome and the important steps they make to give the Sisterhood more power. Speaking of that, in the episode 3 trailer, we also see Valya taking what looks to be the Rossak poison, followed by a shot of Dorothea and her close sisters residing on Wallach 9. So what do I think we could be seeing here, and how does this link into the Sisterhood of Dune book? Well, in the story written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, Sister Dorothea takes 2 pills of the Rossak drug, the very substance that granted Rakella her abilities. She persuades Valya to join her in taking the drug, but Valya doesn't, secretly holding onto it instead. But with Dorothea taking the pill, she becomes only the second Reverend mother to endure its effects. Additionally, Dorothea discovers the hidden computers of the Sisterhood and realizes that Rakella is her grandmother. And with this, the Sisterhood intensifies its schemes against Emperor Salvador, whom they suspect could be related to a future tyrant, possibly alluding to Paul Atreides or Leto Atreides II. Emperor Salvador learns from Dorothea about the Sisterhood's computers, prompting him to travel to Rossak for an investigation. However, Rakella and Valya preemptively destroy the computer, leaving the Emperor to not find anything. Eventually, he proclaims the Sisterhood of Rossak disbanded by order of the Empire. And this moment ultimately drives Valya back to Lankivel, where she finally succumbs to the Rossak poison, earning her place as the 3rd Reverend Mother. Soon after, Valya and her fellow sisters, guided by Rakella, find refuge on Wallach 9, where they aspire to restore the Sisterhood. So I think we're going to see a version of these events either shown or told to us in episode 3. By establishing the struggles of the Harkonnens after the Machine Wars, and then showing the steps that Valya makes to give the Sisterhood some form of power, it will put in place the direction that was taken to get to where we are 30 years later. Coming now to the events with Lila, of course, in the previous episode we saw her undergo the agony ritual using the Rossak poison to connect with her ancestors and find out more about the Turan Arafel prophecy. This refers to the so-called burning truth that Valya and Tula believes links to what we're seeing with Desmond Hart. At the end of episode 2, the show made us believe that Lila might have died or been lost deep within her genetic memories. Well, the trailer for episode 3 confirms that she is actually still alive, and the Weeks Ahead trailer we got following episode 1 showed her walking away with the Sisterhood, presumably after the agony ritual. So Lila's survival suggests her increasing significance to the Sisterhood's future and Rakella's prophecy. Additionally, the young sister's journey may foreshadow challenges for Valya and Tula, as Tula's affection for Lila could start to be perceived as a vulnerability. Not to mention that there are also secrets that Valya is trying to protect, which involves her killing Lila's grandmother Dorothea and what she planned with her great-great-grandmother Rakella. So based on what we're seeing, it makes sense that Lila would uncover some of these secrets in the next episode, because we are going back to the past with Valya and Tula. So whatever we find out on Lankivel and in the past with both sisters will presumably link into what Lila uncovers during the ritual. Something to note is that we see Tula cautiously using the breeding index, something that the show hasn't gone all that much into thus far. So I wouldn't be surprised if that links into the book lore with Emperor Salvador and the computer issue, as Tula did mention to Valya in the previous episode that it would be a risk using Lila in the agony ritual because there are secrets they have that could destroy the Sisterhood as they know it. So there's definitely more being hidden than just the killing of Dorothea, and the scenes on Lankivel may be crucial in finding out what that is. We do further get a few shots of Lila in what looks to be some kind of medical chamber, where Tula is looking to keep her alive. There's also a shot of her preparing to use some form of other liquid, so you guys may be able to help me work that out. But as a whole, there's clearly a lot more that the Sisterhood is hiding, and I think we're going to find out more on that in episode 3. But as I was just talking about Lila potentially finding out secrets linked to Rakella's prophecy, this does now lead me into another discussion on Desmond Hart. Now, we don't see Desmond at all in this episode 3 trailer, so I don't think we're going to get many scenes with him in this upcoming installment. But with him being one of the most important and mysterious aspects of this show, I don't doubt that we'll find out more about the prophecy, which we all suspect links into the burning truth that Raquella spoke about. So what are my current theories on the character of Desmond Hart? Well, as you know from my previous videos, I'm still in the camp of him being some form of Gola, as the twice born comments from Raquella, the Reverend remark, him surviving the sandworm attack, and him wanting to destroy the Sisterhood are just quite hard to ignore at this point. And again, it would also make sense to introduce a Gola in a show that's being released prior to Denis Villeneuve's Dune Messiah, a project that is likely going to feature one as a main character. But while I'm sticking with the idea that Desmond Hart is a Gola, there is another theory that has caught my attention, and this has to do with the conundrum surrounding his telekinetic ability to kill from afar with burning. A theory that has recently popped up on Reddit is that his ability to do this, however it's explained, will somehow be harnessed by the Bene Gesserit to eventually create the Box of Pain test, the Gom Jabbar practice that Paul encounters at the beginning of the first Dune film. Whatever Desmond does end up being, the idea of pain through nerve induction and corpses burning, which links to the same test, could be the power that's harnessed for the origin of the Box of Pain test. So essentially, Desmond, along with his seemingly supernatural abilities, could directly inspire the Bene Gesserit's 10,000-year plan to breed the Kwisatz Haderach. The more we see of him, Desmond represents a force that the Sisterhood haven't encountered before, and we expect that his power and abilities will lead them to their ultimate objective. So in turn, they would decide that creating a selectively bred, powerful, and extremely trained Kwisatz Haderach would be their definitive goal. Desmond has already demonstrated his ability to resist the power of Valya Harkonnen's voice, so in the coming weeks, we might see him display even more abilities. Now, the reason I'm considering this theory as a probable one is not just because it links heavily into the idea of the Box of Pain and the Kwisatz Haderach prophecy, but also because the final episode of the show is titled The High-Handed Enemy. The Gom Jabbar is also known as the High-Handed Enemy, and that could explain what we might end up seeing. Essentially, the establishment of the Gom Jabbar test and how Desmond Hart ultimately inspires that and the Sisterhood's ultimate objective with creating the Kwisatz Haderach over 10,000 years. The connection to that prophecy would also explain why during Raquella and Karsha's visions, we got quotes and imagery that made us think about the Kwisatz Haderach and the eventual holy war in Dune Messiah. So maybe this burning proof prophecy does link to Desmond Hart, and the reason it does so is because the events that take place with his character in the show lead to the very prophecy and reckoning we know about 10,000 years later. Of course, this might be completely wrong, but I really do like some of the connections people have made to the Gom Jabbar test, and how everything with Desmond Hart may inspire the direction that the Sisterhood goes in. But that was my video breaking down the trailer promo for Dune Prophecy Episode 3. I will be posting my review for the first 2 episodes of the series in the coming days, and while I will be doing a full review on the show once the season comes to an end, this early reaction will just give you my initial thoughts. I will also be covering episode 3 next week here on the channel and breaking down the trailer for episode 4 soon after, so stay tuned for much more on the new Dune series. But if you've seen the trailer for next week's episode, let me know down below in the comments section what you thought of all the new footage and what you think might happen in the weeks ahead. For much more videos and news on Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.